Hello, I'm Captain Phoenix and welcome to my corner. In this video I'm gonna present this release, Bill Evans' Treasures. It's a Record Store Day 2023 release. I'm gonna present it and tell you what's in it. It's a 3 LP set. I'm gonna tell you about the music, I'm gonna tell you about the technical quality, the quality of the recordings, and I'm also gonna go behind this release because I've interviewed the person who had the tapes that actually made this release possible. So I hope you'll find it interesting and hang on. So this release is a Record Store Day release. It is from Elemental Music, and they seem to put out Bill Evans release almost every Record Store Day. Last year in 22, there were two both from Buenos Aires, and now it's this one. It's recordings from Denmark, where I live. So this has a special importance or meaning to me. I'm a big Bill Evans fan. He's my favorite jazz pianist. I think he might even be my favorite jazz musician. And with recordings from my home country, that's something special, I think. So I was very happy to be able to pick this one up a few days after Record Store Day, and I've been listening to it, and I want to share my experience with you. So first of all, we got this threefold cover here, which is very well made. It's with a lot of good photos from a Swedish jazz photographer, Jan Persson, Sweden, and he worked in Denmark, and he lived not very far from here, so he has made a lot of good photos, which you can see on this one. And besides the trifold, there's also on most releases this little booklet, or not so little, with the interviews and background information. There's from Seb Feldman, there's from Eddie Gomez, which you hear, who's playing bass on some of the tunes. Also from the Danish drummer Alex Riel. He was quite young then. He's still living. I think he's 82 years, still living and still playing here in Denmark. So he's written something as well. So a lot of good stuff to read and to dig into. And yeah, so very nice to have. I've heard that some of the releases were with a download code. I think that's a shame. I think it's nice to have this in a physical format. But okay, let's get into the music here, which is the most important part. And it's in different constellations, as you can see here. It's this Bill Evans solo, trio, and orchestral recordings. 6 record size, and the first 3 tunes is trio tunes with a Danish bassist, Niels Henning Ørsted Petersen, and the drummer Alan Dawson. They're nice, they're good. It's like we know Bill Evans. He was almost always recording in a trio format. They're good. Then on the last tune of the first side and on side 2, we have still a trio, but with Alex Riel, the Danish drummer, on the drums, yeah, and still with the Danish bass player Niels Henning Ørsted Petersen. And I think that lifts the music up. I think definitely it's better. They work better together, and both the bassist and the drummer have been playing at a Danish jazz club for several years, amongst others with with Dexter Gordon, and later on also with Ben Webster, who lived here in Denmark, in Copenhagen, where they lived as well, and where this recording is made. It's from the Copenhagen Jazz Festival in 1965. And the five of the tunes on the first LP is from a school actually in Holbæk, which is a smaller Danish town, just an hour's drive outside of Copenhagen, which have a rich musical life at that time. So it's Bill Evans moved to that school, and he recorded there as a part of a larger recording. Then on side 3, it's a Bill Evans solo, piano solo. He has made other releases with a solo piano, and this one is great as well. But on side 4, it's something that we do not hear very often. It's an orchestral piece with members of the Danish Radio Big Band and some strings from the Royal Danish Symphony Orchestra. And on these, and that's really special. It works very good. It's like the music with the big orchestra and the little trio with Bill Evans. They when you say weave into each other and moves in and out of each other, if you can say so. And it works, I think, very well. It's not too over sugared with all the violins, but yeah, I think it works well. So that was a bit of a surprise for me to hear Bill Evans in that format. So very well done. And then on the last two record sides, it's Bill Evans back in the trio format again, with Eddie Gomez on bass. And on the side 5, Alex Riel, the Danish drummer, again behind the drums. And on the last side, it's with the Martin Morell, who was a part of the Bill Evans trio in the late 60s and the 70s. And that's also very nice music, more like we know Bill Evans. And he plays many, as you might be able to see, he plays many of the tunes that he used to have on his repertoire at that time. So the music is very good. It's interesting. It's some of it is something that I haven't heard before, and I think Bill Evans and a big orchestra is very rarely recorded. The technical quality of these records, it is good. You might even call them great. But it's not the audiophile level. It's not up there with the best releases ever. And that has to do with two things. It has to do with the source material, which I'll go into a little later, and it has to do with the pressing. I have to say that the pressing of these records could have been better. They are a little noisy. There are some clicks, some pops, and I had one of the records replaced due to non-fill issues, which makes a very nasty noise. So yeah, the quality control and the quality control and the quality of the pressings could be better. I also changed my cartridge to a mono cartridge, which reduces its mono recordings. It reduces the sensibility to the noise, so it's easier, better to listen to it in mono. But it's not deeply problematic. I just wish that it could have been a little bit better. Yeah, and then the other part of this is we have to dig a little into that. Since these recordings were made in Denmark, where I live, I thought I'd dig a little into it and go behind where these tapes come from. So that led me to ask somebody in the Danish jazz environment, and that led me to a guy called Ole Matthiessen, a gentleman called Ole Matthiessen, and a few words about him, because Ole Matthiessen he's born in 1946, and he's a piano player amongst other things. And at the time of these recordings, he was of the first of them. He must have been a teenager, 19 years old. Ole Matthiessen made his first. He's been recording a lot as well. He made his first recording in '68. Very avant-garde Danish jazz record, which is hard to get, but where he had a beautiful composition called a hymn to Requiem to Martin Luther King. It's from 1968, so it was the year that Martin Luther King was murdered. Later than that, Ole Matthiessen has been engaged with Danish National Radio, has been a producer there, has been releasing and arranging concerts, and has been active in the, when you said, organizatorial life of the Danish jazz musicians, has been a writer, has been all around in the Danish jazz society. And above that, he also took a master's degree in economics from the University of Copenhagen. So he's really around. I did an interview with Ole Matthiessen He lives in Copenhagen, still alive and kicking, and he preferred to have the interview done by mail, so we wrote forth and back, and he answered my questions, and I put other questions. And one of my questions, my first question was, where have all these these recordings here been all the time, and how did they come to surface again? And what he told me, that he back in the days, he had recorded them when they were broadcasted. So what we are listening to here is Ole Mathiessen's private recordings from when these concerts were broadcasted by the Danish National Radio. So it's a private person, a teenager for the first of them, who has recorded this music. The contact to Seb Feldman and to Elemental Music, which has made this release here, was through a Danish record label called Stunt Records. And Ole Matthiessen has worked with Stunt Records for several projects during the last couple of years. He took over the project. I understood that he was not the main person in the beginning of this project. He took it over from another Dane called Peter Larsen, Peter H. Larsen, and he is unfortunately seriously ill. But he had started this release here in cooperation with Stunt Records. Peter Larsen made the first discography of Bill Evans' recordings. It was in '83, I think, and it's really very, very a little narrow publication, maybe. And as you can see, it's like it was written on a typewriter. But it is the discography of all Bill Evans' recordings here up until, well, '83. This might not be in it. I have not checked, but it has not. All the material that has come up in the last few years is of course not in this one. What Ole Matthiessen, Ole Matthiessen did was that he researched the material and found the best of his own recordings from way back. And then he spent, as he said, several weeks editing this, mastering it, often second to second, checking the tape speeds, cleaning and filtering these old tapes with all the, as he said, all the excellent digital technology. So there are some heavy digital processes behind this, but as I said, it sounds great. And then it moved on from his hand to Seb Feldman and to the process in Elemental Music. Ole Matthiessen has done several other projects in the recent years with other Danish record companies. He was involved in this one, Michel Petrosiani, from a record company called Storywheel, also a Danish company. Michel Petrosiani was also a pianist, French pianist, and has been very inspired by Bill Evans. So Ole Matthiessen has been involved in that as well. I asked him about the gear he used for his recordings, and what he did was he used a Revox or a Movic. That's a Danish semi-professional tape recorder. It's reel-to-reel recorders. He recorded it on 7.5 inch per second on the 2 tracks, on one of 2 tracks. It's mono recordings, and the album is of course also in mono. So he recorded that at some good tapes, which proved that they could stand the time until now. And as Ole Matthiessen said, he learned the hard way in the beginning that don't save your money on a recording at a lower speed or using not the best tape you can get. So he did that. When I asked him that, as he said, he used his best own recordings, that made me ask if he had other recordings with Bill Evans and with other combination, other backing, and from other location, and he just said, "Of course I have." So he has a lot of good Bill Evans stuff here. He does not seem to be headed for more releases like this. But as he said, maybe with other of what he had recorded during the years. All his analog tape has been digitalized a long time ago, So I guess he must have a lot of material. So and then when I picked up this actual copy, which I bought, it was unfortunately not something that was sent to me from Elemental Music, but that doesn't matter. I picked it up, and in the shop where I picked it up, behind the counter was Ole Matthiessen. It's a jazz club and a shop and a cafe in Copenhagen, where a lot of the Danish jazz environment pops up. And Ole Matthiessen was there, and I had a little talk after the interview with him, and he said that the Danish state radio, he thinks that the tapes are still with them, the original tapes before it was broadcasted, but he said nobody could find anything in there, so that's a little sad. But there might even be better quality recordings and of a lot of other concerts with Bill Evans and other great musicians that visited Denmark in the 60s and in the 70s. So maybe someone will dig into that in the future. I hope so, because what we've got here is really, really good. I like it a lot. I hope to see more from Bill Evans, and even it could be from Denmark or from other places. So that was the story about how these tapes were found and where they stem from. And I think it's a fascinating story that a teenager recorded what we get today, or got a couple of weeks ago at Record Store Day. And I hope you found that interesting too. You're welcome to leave your comments below. I'll read every one of them, and I'll answer them if you pose some questions. So thanks for your time. I hope to see you next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.